Hello, welcome back to my channel Christian Faith and Fiction. My name's Lou and today I'm going to be doing a slightly different video. Instead of talking about the fiction I've been reading, I'm going to be talking about writing fiction. NaNoWriMo is coming up shortly in November, and for those of you who are not familiar with that, it stands for National Novel Writing Month. It takes place every November and lots of writers around the world all take on the challenge of writing 50,000 words in 1 month. I've participated in the past. I think I've won once. I'm going to be taking part this time. I am not aiming to get to 50,000, mainly because I am writing a children's book and I don't need it to be that long. I know a lot of people who take up creative writing want to do that as their job. They'd like to be published authors. And certainly there's a lot of different talk on YouTube about that kind of thing. But I want to talk about the benefits of writing that are different from the ones that you might think of. So I have 21 reasons why writing fiction is good for you. Number 1, researching characters and settings broadens your horizons. When we write fiction, we often have to do quite a bit of research beforehand or during the process. There is an old saying, write what you know, but one of the fun things about writing is writing things about things that you don't know anything about, and that involves a lot of research. The process of researching different settings, different geographies, different characters, different jobs, all of these things can broaden your horizons on the world as you have seen it, the world that you've seen around you, and can open your eyes to all sorts of things that you never knew about before. Number 2, research educates you. Another way that research can grow you as a person is if you want to go deeper into a particular field or skill set or place or character type. Anything that you want to dig deeper into is going to educate you on that subject. Number 3, writing fiction provides you with a way to deal with big emotions. Many people have been through all sorts of trauma, all sorts of stressful events in their lives. This can leave us with a large unprocessed emotions that we carry around with us. And one of the ways that we can help ourselves to deal with that is to write things down. Now, that could be through just journaling your ideas and things, but it could also be through a fictional character. Taking somebody through something that you've been through, taking them on a journey that helps them to address what they've been through. All of those things can give you an outlet for processing your own personal emotions, things that you've been carrying for a long time, things that you're currently going through. Writing, and particularly creative writing, is a great way to get into those emotions in a safe space where you can look at them and feel them and get them out of your system without them erupting and becoming too big. Number 4, writing fiction allows you to explore deeper themes than you have done in your daily life. Now, as an opposite to number 3, this one allows you to get in and dig deep into other people's experiences, maybe things that you've never been through, but you want to explore what it's like to go through. Getting inside the head of a character who is actually dealing with grief, who is dealing with health problems, all sorts of things, relationship breakdowns, that can really give you a different perspective. You can live through those experiences without actually having to have them yourself or take them on board. Number 5, writing fiction is a way to harness your positive creativity. Many of us have untapped potential in our creative souls, in our minds, in our hearts, that we haven't really been able to access in our daily lives. So writing fiction can really help you to get into that, get your creative juices going, create something, imagine a different world, imagine a different scenario, imagine yourself in space, imagine yourself under the water, wherever you want to imagine yourself and your characters. You can use that positive creativity to write something new and fresh. And on the opposite side, number 6, writing fiction can harness your negative creativity. And what I mean by negative creativity is those kind of daydreaming thoughts where you are awfulizing everything. So if you are the sort of person who, when something bad starts to happen, you immediately start to imagine the next worst thing that could happen, and then the next worst thing, and the next worst thing, until you are starting to fear and dread what's coming ahead because you've already imagined how bad it's going to be. Those kind of negative creativity thoughts, where you're using your imagination in a way that actually is causing you stress and causing you fear and anxiety problems, those kind of things can really benefit from writing fictional worlds, actually harnessing that imagination and that brain power and distracting those kind of those negative thoughts, those worrying thoughts, those awfulizing thoughts, by harnessing it in a good way, can really help you with your mental mindscape and your levels of anxiety and the daydreaming that can leave you frustrated or else anxious. Number 7, writing fiction gives you empathy for other people. This is one of the real reasons why I think writing fiction should be a key part of any school education program. We want people to grow up, and even adults to develop and mature in being able to be empathetic to other people. It's a really useful skill to have in society, to be able to put yourself in someone else's shoes. And when you're writing fiction, you're not only just walking in their shoes through the eyes of your main character, you're also getting inside their head, working out what makes them tick. Why did they do that? Why are they? What motivates them to act in the way that they have, especially if it's somebody who's very different from you, who's making choices that are totally different from what the choices that you would make. Being able to empathize with them, to be able to know what they're feeling and why they're doing what they're doing, is really helpful skill, not just obviously in writing, but in life itself. When you come across someone who has a very different opinion to you, who does something that you think is stupid and totally illogical, being able to put yourself into their mind and say, why are they doing what they're doing? What does it feel like to be that person? Having empathy goes beyond having sympathy. Sympathy is just feeling sorry for someone. Empathy is actually being able to understand what they're feeling, to feel what they're feeling. And that's a really, really great skill for just communities to have for each other, especially when there's conflict. And number 8 is similar to that. It's writing fiction helps you to see all sides of the argument. When you are the one who is creating all the characters and you need to get into every single person's head, when your characters are having an argument or a disagreement or a fight, then you need to be able to hear every single argument and justify it in each case. You're not just taking your own opinion, you've got to get into the head of the other person who's giving the opposite opinion. And that's a really, really helpful skill when it comes to dealing with conflict. Again, everybody comes up against conflict in their lives, whether that's in their personal relationships or at work, or if you are dealing with bigger conflicts in the world. Everyone has to learn how to listen to other people and to try to understand where they're coming from. And so having the ability to see all sides of an argument before you make a decision is really, really useful. Especially when you're trying to judge from, who is in the right, who is in the wrong. Having that ability to listen to every side first is really, really useful. Number 9, writing fiction gives you an escape from boredom. This might be the case for a lot of people in lockdown. If you've been stuck inside, you can't go out and socialise, the pubs are shut, your social life is shut down, you're not able to see your friends so much. Boredom can really set in. So writing fiction is one really good way to relieve that. You get to create your own universe, you get to create your own characters, you get to create your own scenarios of what's going on. You get to live an exciting life through the lives of your characters. When you have a moment and you've just got nothing else to do, instead of scrolling through your phone to find something, you can sit and think up another great scenario, another great problem for your characters to get through, another crazy part to your world that you want to create. Number 10, writing fiction is a great escape from stress. Now, this is kind of the opposite. Now, I know a lot of people who are working at the moment are really quite stressed out. Having a way of escaping all of that into your imagination, into another world that you're creating. You can create a highly stressful world if you want to, but you can also create a world that is really happy and nothing goes wrong if you want to. When you're writing for your own pleasure, you literally can write anything you want to, and that kind of escapism from stress can give your brain a break from worrying about everything that's going on, and that's really healthy for your mental health. Number 11, writing fiction could lead to a career change. Now, obviously, many writers want to become published authors. They want to have it as their career, but you could also find yourself taking on a career that you have, for instance, researched as for one of your characters. So you may have done a lot of research into a particular profession that you suddenly find, actually, I'd quite like to learn more about that. I'd like to study that. I'd like to go ahead, get some qualifications for that. I'd like to go try and get a job in that. And trying it out beforehand in a kind of fictional setting might lead you to want to try it in the real world. Number 12, writing fiction allows you to make friends either online or in a writing group. If you're participating in NaNoWriMo, there are lots of online groups connected to that. I know we have a local Facebook group, and there are forums on the website. But there are also writers groups all over the place, and in person as well as online. I guess most of them are probably online at the moment. You can meet friends on social media. You can share your work with other people and get critique partners. You can collaborate with other writers and write together. There are lots of ways that you could make friends through this activity, through a shared love of writing. Number 13, writing fiction allows you to share your creativity with others, either from being published for money or for free. Many people get a real joy out of sharing their works, their babies, with the world. You can obviously do that through being published. You can independently or self-publish these days. It's much easier nowadays than it has been 20 years ago. But you can also share what you've been creating for free on a blog, on a podcast, on social media. If you write short fiction or in short bursts, you can share it. You can share on Wattpad. You can print it off and share it with friends, just a few friends if you want to. But lots of people find a real joy in sharing what they have created with other people and letting other people into their own universes. Number 14, writing fiction keeps you mentally active as you get older. Many of us have been told the benefits of keeping your mind active as you get older and protecting you against things like dementia for as long as possible, just keeping your brain active. And often it's suggested that you could try crosswords or Sudoku, that kind of thing. But writing fiction is equally as good for mental activity. Just thinking up plots and characters and all that kind of thing really exercises your brain, as well as the research that you might want to do alongside that. Number 15, writing fiction could keep you physically active if you embrace dictation and walking whilst you're writing. Now, this really only applies to dictation, because if you're trying to walk and type or something at the same time, it's quite tricky. Take a dictaphone with you, get an app on your phone that you can use, or you could go for a walk somewhere and take a notebook with you or your laptop with you, and then partway through sit down and have your writing session and then walk back again. Number 16, writing fiction improves your language and grammar skills as you edit and get feedback on your writing. This is something that I always need to be improving on. You can use tools online to help with your grammar. I'm still slightly baffled by where the commas should go in sentences, and that's something that the more that you edit, the more that you get feedback on it, the more that it gets into your brain, your subconscious, about how you should write, and that's obviously going to improve your writing skills in terms of your fiction, but also in terms of any jobs that you do. Knowing good grammar is really useful, but also knowing where to go to check your grammar if you know that's a weakness of yours, that's also a really useful skill. Number 17, writing fiction trains you in the ability to finish what you start. Now, I am a notorious starter of projects. I have lots of different creative projects around the house that I have started and never finished, and a number of novels that I've got to about 75% of the way through and then couldn't finish because I couldn't get through the ending. And part of NaNoWriMo is actually just to keep going, to keep writing and try and get to the end of your story. Training yourself to get to the end of a novel is going to help you a lot in your life, just getting that into your subconscious that you can finish things, even if it's difficult, you can get there. Number 18 is similar. Writing fiction gives you the habit of self-discipline. Now, this is more about writing every day. I don't write every day. I certainly don't, and even in NaNoWriMo, I don't plan to write every day. I plan to take days off. I think that's good. I think that's healthy. But writing consistently, keeping going when things are difficult, that is a habit that is really good to have in life. It's definitely one that I am working on with my own writing, my own life. I tend to come to a bit of a standstill when things get a bit difficult. When I get a bit blocked, I take a few days off, and sometimes that's good in terms of letting my brain work out what the problem is, and then I come back to it. I seem to have solved it. Sometimes we do just have to sit there and wait and try to keep going. Self-discipline is a really good habit to have. Number 19, writing fiction gives you transferable skills that can be used in other jobs. Now, writing itself obviously can be used in many different jobs. Creative thinking is really great to have, even in the business world. Being able to think outside of the box, as it were, or blue sky thinking, is a really great skill to have. Being able to come up with creative ideas of ways to solve problems, that's a great skill to have. Also, the technical skills of being able to use a computer, being able to type, being able to use a grammar check, being able to independently publish a novel. Any of those kind of skills are really, really useful in all sorts of other jobs, and they are transferable over and look really good on your CV. Number 20, writing fiction enables you to change the world around you. Words have influence. There are many great books that have influenced me, including many fiction books. Words have the power to change people when they read your work, whether it's they paid for it or whether they're just reading it for free. Those words can change people's attitudes on different issues. They can inspire them. They can give them hope when they might have been feeling hopeless. Words can do so many things, and the ability to change the world through your creative fiction is something that should never be underestimated. And finally, number 21, writing fiction allows you to share with others what it's like to be you. You may have a particular take on the world. You may have had certain life experiences. You may have a health condition or a disability or anything that makes you you, and it may be something that's misunderstood in the world. Writing a fictional character with those things going on in their lives can be a really great way of helping people to see what it's like to live through those things, because if you're writing through the eyes of a character, then you're taking your readers into that mindset, you're taking them into that life and helping them to live through it as well, and helping them to see what it's like to to be you on a daily basis and to feel the things that you feel and to enjoy the things that you enjoy. Whatever it is about you that makes you an individual is going to come across through your writing. So those are 21 benefits that I have to share with you today. Can you think of any others? Let me know down in the comments. If you are watching this for the first time and you happen to also like to read Christian fiction, then please do subscribe to my channel. If you are taking part in NaNoWriMo 2020, let me know in the comments and let me know what type of story you're going to write. Have a great reading and writing week, and I'll see you again. Bye!